welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelly Capsar, and I am one of the licensed spiritual practitioners here at Center for Spiritual Living St. George. And we'll be working the meditation right now. So, welcome. So, first thing we're going to do is just kind of get comfortable in our seats. Maybe we're going to let our feet be in contact with the earth. And we'll take the breath. Feeling the earth beneath our feet. Noticing, is it dry or moist? Is it rocky or fertile? And we'll take the breath with the earth beneath our feet. And we'll let the earth beneath our feet fill our body more with each breath, that which nurtures and supports. Filling up into our feet and our legs and our hips. Filling up into our bellies and our low backs. Filling up into our torso, our heart, our lungs, our rib cage, our spine, with everything that most nurtures and supports. Each cell, each fiber. And we take the breath, and our shoulders and our arms and our hands get filled with whatever most nurtures and supports. And then moving up into our neck and our jaws and our faces and our heads. Filling us so much that with the next breath, that nurture and support moves out from our skin 6-8 inches around us, maybe even more. Until we are feeling nurtured and supported from the inside. And a soft, gentle rain or breeze is coming in from the outside as well. And today our theme is reaching higher, and still I rise. One of the things I've noticed this summer is that one of the things that helps me rise up again, to stay rising, is to find the things that make me smile. And so I'm going to invite you to take the breath in and just let the things that make you really deeply smile come to your mind, land in your body. Maybe it's a hike or being with family or loved ones. Maybe it's cooking or writing songs or gardening or playing skee ball or spending time with the animals. Whatever it is, let's let that smile rise. Maybe parts of you have forgotten what it feels like to smile. And if that's the case, I like putting my hands on my heart, so I invite you to do the same. And just sit with your heart and ask your heart, what really makes us smile? And if there aren't any answers that come up, simply invite your heart, your being, to be willing to find that smile. And tune in to the sound of your own heartbeat, the sound and feel of your own breath. Maybe you can just simply sit and smile and remind your face what that feels like. And as we bring this to a close in the next minute or two, maybe take note of things that help you to rise, that help you to smile, that create that sense of deep smiling in your being. And as we finish here, I invite you to simply jot a couple notes down before we start the inspirational services. And for right now, we take the breath top to bottom, front to back, and side to side. We tell our bodies thank you for accepting these changes with grace and ease. Thank you, body, for being on this journey with me. Thank you for sharing your wisdom in all the ways you shared today. And we come back to this time and this place and this knowing, maybe smiling a little easier right now. Thank you all for joining me.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in St. George. That's in Utah. We're an open, loving, and inclusive community, and we support creative thinking and living a deeply spiritual life. So you're welcome here anytime. We're going to present today our special message. Behind the scenes is Chris McCardle, who's doing our tech work for us. Kelly Caspar provided the meditation and will also be doing our invocation. Cheryl Barlow, our music leader, will be providing the music. Gwen Hadley will be reading our sacred covenant. And our special guest today is Starr Starrett, one of our own practitioners, who will be providing the message. So let's just get this thing going, and we'll go right to Cheryl and have some music and just sit back and relax and enjoy.
Thank you, Alan. Let's get this thing going. I love it. And I love the smile of that meditation. Let's take that with us throughout service today. So I'm going to go through this song, and I just invite you to open your heart space and let that divine in. And then after the invocation, we will sing it through together. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat his love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see his love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. As I perceive, all I believe, to know his love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve his love divine. I'm going to invite Kelly back into the service, and she's going to do our invocation.
Thank you, Cheryl. So I take the breath, and I simply remember that there is only one life, one light, one love, one breath, one grace that informs everything that we see, that we hear, that we know. And so I breathe into that, knowing that the very truth of my being is grace, is support, is rising for that hand of life, of love, is always right there. And I find it when I remember the conscious breath. And so as I know this is the truth of myself, so do I know it is the truth for everyone who is in the sound of this voice, everyone within the sound of this service. And so we breathe in together, remembering the very truth of our being. Is life, is love, is grace, is that forward movement. Remembering the very truth of our being is divine. And with deepest gratitude, I breathe into that, knowing that this time together, this sacred yes that we have all spoken, guides our way, helps us to rise, allows the smiles to come, and that everything unfolds in that grace. And so I breathe that in, and then knowing that that is the truth and already is, always is. I simply let it be, resting in that knowing. And as we rest in that knowing, we simply come together and say, and so it is.
So it is. These lyrics will be on screen, and I invite you to just affirm them, read along, sing along, whatever works for you. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat his love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see his love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. As I perceive, all I believe, to know his love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve his love divine. Blessed One, take my life, let your light be mine. Give me desire, eternal fire, to burn as love divine. May I live as love divine. And now I'm going to welcome Gwen Hadley, and she is going to do our sacred reading. Good morning, Gwen.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you. Our beautiful sacred covenant. I invite you all to read along with me as I read it out loud. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written by Ernest Holmes, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole." As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for I live in the presence and law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from the wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. Please express your personal truth here. I embrace I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Gwen. So as you've heard today, the September theme has been reaching higher, and today's talk focus is "And Still I Rise." Ernest Holmes speaks to the power behind our ability to reaching and rising higher, writing, "There is an inner urge in our own minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence, an irresistible force, and constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience." Author, coach, and speaker Rashid Angularu describes rising higher beautifully. He writes, "A free spirit is not bound by this, that, matter, materialism, or opinion. They sing, dance, and flow on the wind, for they are at one with it. They are nothing and everything, void and expanse. Even space and time does not confine or define them, for they are pure energy itself." This song is a similar reminder inspired by a poem by Walt Whitman and presented in the musical Fame and many other places since. I know a lot of you know of it, and it really speaks to this theme today, so sing along. I sing the body electric. I celebrate the me yet to come. I toast to my own reunion when I become one with the sun. I'll look back on Venus, I'll look back on Mars, and I'll burn with the fire 10 million stars. And in time, we will all be stars. I sing the body electric, I glory in the glow of rebirth, creating my own tomorrow, when I shall embody the earth. And I'll serenade Venus, I'll serenade Mars, and I'll burn with the fire 10 million stars. And in time, we will all be stars. I sing the body electric, I celebrate the me yet to come. I toast to my own reunion when I become one with the sun. And I'll look back on Venus, I'll look back on Mars, and I'll burn with the fire 10 million stars. And in time, we will all be stars. All right, back to you, Alan.
Oh, Cheryl, that's great. We're all rising here. Thank you. Well, today's a very special day for us here in St. George at the CSL. The message today is going to be presented by one of our own practitioners, Starr Starrett. And we're really looking forward to this. So let's just get this going and bring Starr in here and let's do this deal, Starr.
Hello, Alan. Thank you so much. That's so appreciated. I'm so honored. Oh, everyone. Wow. What a beginning of today's thing. The theme, "And Still I Rise." What a beautiful song that was. What a beautiful meditation that was. Oh, wow. I hope I can do it justice. I'm just going to start with a little bit of who I am, who I've been. I've been a seeker, a searcher since I was 33. I remember making a commitment then and actually quitting drugs and alcohol and I had and smoking cigarettes. I had no withdrawals whatsoever because I was in the present moment. When I look back at that, I was in the present moment when I did that. And in the present moment is where all the power resides. And so it was easy. There was no withdrawals because in that moment, it was done as I asked. And I went about going back to the Mormon church and going through the temple and all of that stuff. And I enjoyed it. But when that time was done, it was time to move on. When I decided to change, when I decided that what I was learning at the time wasn't enough, that I wanted more. I wanted to rise higher. So I remember my life being raised as a Christian, as a Mormon, that I had a lot of time to read things like the Bible, like the different forms of even the doctrine that they had, which was closely tied to Jesus Christ. It was, even though it was someone outside of me at the time, it had a lot of wisdom in it. And there are a few things that have kept me going through the years that is still in that way of looking at things through Christianity. So when I speak from a place of that, but I know that it is more than that. When I learned that Jesus was not something that I worshiped outside of me, but something that was deep within. I remember the saying that I still have with me today, and it's called "Be still and know." Let's see, I have to go back. Be still and know. That's one of the scriptures that I have kept me going through the years. What does that mean? And the kingdom of heaven is within. And greater things will you do that I have ever done. What did that mean? I mean, there was so many things in that. And at the same time, I was very angry. I was very angry with a world that, or even a God that had allowed so much pain and struggle and a teaching that taught that God was not inside me, but it was outside of me, that I didn't have the right to study the mysteries, and so when I found that out with the church, I just left. I just knew that I had to move on. And so I will be using terms like Christ consciousness. And I use the term God because I've come to a new understanding of what God is. And I've come to that understanding through some episodes in my life of realization that have occurred through a direct experience. And some of us have had direct experiences in our life, and I know you hold them dear to your heart. They're things that happen in an instant, things that can hardly be defined. For me, it was the room moved physically, and it was like in a flash. I knew it wasn't real. It was something that was greater than what I thought it was. And then another one was more recent. Let's see, that was 10 or 12 years ago, but the one more recent was just a couple of years ago, of me sitting in nature. And not so much in nature, I was at home, but I was looking at nature because I had the opportunity to be in a place where there was nothing but nature all the way to the beach. And I felt a oneness. I felt a congruency that shifted through my being. It was almost like in an instant. It's undefinable because it had every sense, every nuance that I could think of flashed right in front of me. And it was like, oh, wow, this oneness thing, it's real. It's not just people, it's everything. So that's after I had become a practitioner on Kauai. But I still, even though I was a practitioner, I had excuse me, I have to shift. Even though I'd become a practitioner in word and in action, there was a deepening that had to take place that took another year after becoming a practitioner of really feeling the presence and feeling what the power was. And when that flash happened, it was like a knowing. And so there's a lot of things that we know about. And so my message today is that, the Christ consciousness is rising from a very, very, very long sleep. And just like we do when we wake up from a night's sleep, we want to shake everything off and move it around. Well, that's what's happening in the world right now. In the world right now, there is chaos, and chaos is everywhere. But let me tell you, chaos is the greatest gift for us to be here now in, because it's the chaos that shifts our own inner thinking. It's the chaos that rises up within us and says, it's like, what are you going to do with this? Well, you have to decide. You have to decide who you are in truth. Because the small self, the one that is our collective history, so to speak, only knows one way to deal with things, and that's by going into the past and how I dealt with this, how I dealt with that, and I put this in place so that I wouldn't be hurt anymore. And I did this so I wouldn't, have to disagree anymore and things like that. But that's a small self. And so what I'm inviting you to do when you say, who am I in truth? Or what am I in truth? Is to see that there is something inside you that's back of everything. And that's what Ernest Holmes talks about in The Science of Mind that I love so much. It's that God is all things. Now, yes, you do want to stay positive in the science of mind. I mean, it's what they teach, the positive way of thinking, the up way of thinking, and everything like that. But it's like you're flying, okay? And you have a wingspan. And when you're flying, it's like you have to course correct to this place of balance, this place in the center of your being, because God is all things, which means it's not just the good. It's also the bad. And if God is in all things and God is shaking off this dream, he's shaking off the reality of the bad stuff. So you can't blame or shame or do anything to anyone outside of you that maybe you don't like, that you don't get along with. Because in order to realize who and what you are also that. You are the up and the down of it, the all around of it. To realize the divine as who and what you are reclaims the identity of the body, no matter what you're looking at, and the expression of a vibration in a new song. You are not what you were. The small self's identity has been assumed by the higher self. It's been brought up. It's lifted up within you. It's not thrown away. It's not away. It's not shut away. It's lifted. So you are rising because of what is rising within you, your own Christed consciousness. All there is really God. Infinite mind is the actor, but you are the announcer. You're what announces what is real in your life for you, and the law makes it happen. So how often do you ask yourself in truth, who am I and what am I, when you have something going on that is messing with you, messing with your peace, so to speak? Do you sit back and do you take a moment and just take that pause like we heard before in some of our talks and just go, okay, who's talking? Who's doing this right now? There's no pushing or shoving in the stillness of knowing. You're already in the garden. Okay, you're already there. Your high self is there right now, and it's divine, and she knows exactly who she is. And so when your small self and the history and all of that stuff comes into play, you have an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for that to go, oh, wow. Go into forgiveness, go into awareness, go into realization of what's real and what's not real, without blame, without judgment, and just let it be risen. It's not you doing the rising. It's not the small self that's doing the rising. The small self wants to push. It wants to make things happen, but it's the higher self of us, the innermost being within us, that lifts everything to a new way of thinking, a new world. And when you witness this and you think, oh, wow, I look back on that, that was easier than I ever expected it to be, because you're surrendering and you're letting go of having to live in a world that won't conform to what you think it should be based on an ideology you would hold that it should be. You're letting go of that. And as you let go of that, it's an automatic rise within your heart, within your being. So when you speak about what you are in truth, wow, what you are is, if you believe what the science of mind says, that God is all things, then what you are is everything outside of you. It's your little puppy. It's your cat. It's all divine. It's all here because of the divine. You didn't make anything happen. You didn't let anything happen. You just lived. You just learned to integrate and live through it. It does require you to sit with what is, though, to explore your options. And you are by nature of your beingness, your own beingness, your innate being, you are safe. It's embedded in you that you are safe. You can try and tell yourself you're not safe. You can try and be in fear. But the fear itself will only create more fear. Nothing can be comprehended until it's first seen or known. So we're looking at a world right now that is seemingly broken, unfixable, undoable. We don't know which way to go. What's up is down. What's down is up. We don't know who to listen to. But by going to a place where, what I call the upper room, I take these things with me into the upper room of, I don't know what this is. And I give it the opportunity to be reknown in a different way. resung, reclaimed. As I look at things in a new way, a higher way. There's no exceptions to this. Everything is going to have to be looked at. There's no sliding past anything. If you're hooked by something, take it upstairs. Take it upstairs. Find a way to recognize the Christ consciousness that you are, the power and the presence that is always with you 24/7, every single second. There's no second that it's not there. Ask. Look at all your comparisons. Look at the high of the light of it, the dark of it, the high, the low. These things are the limitations that bind you. And what we want more than anything is to move forward to a new world that works for everyone. So to justify fear is to claim more of it. All that has been claimed and chosen and hidden must be reknown and lifted to the altar of the divine. And it's not something that takes effort. It's effortless because all you do is lay it down on the altar. That's all you do. And the nuances, the new knowing, it'll come to you. It'll come through you. That's what God is. God moves through us, for us, and as us. And it's as us that it lifts the world into a new place. Doing that is how I serve. So the third component of today's talk, the first one was who am I? It's like the who am I is number 1 and number 2 in treatment. It is recognizing the creator and then realizing your oneness with it. As you, as what you are, as what you're going to take on. The what am I is everything that is seemingly outside of you is you. It is the divine. And it has a reason for everything. There's a reason behind everything. A reason for learning for everyone. And then how do I serve in truth? How do I serve in truth? Well, I don't think that you can set an intent and an intention. But what I'm asking for us to look at is the fact that we can just be it. The beingness of it. It's the being of it that is the service. It's looking at your neighbor. It's looking at the family member that you hate to love or you hate to hate or whatever. It's looking at the politicians that are seemingly running things and running amok and all of this stuff. It is looking at all of that through different eyes. Because behind each and every one of them, behind the man that is drunk and in the street and laying on the gutter, is Source itself. The man wouldn't be laying on the street in his condition unless he had first come here because he agreed to come. God asked, will you come? Yes, We all said yes, each and every one of us. 8 billion of us said yes. So there's no separation here. There's only oneness. And in service means you, in rising to the truth, you see through personalities. You allow them to be because they're teaching them something. And you see the Christ itself that runs in and through each and every one of us. And that's how you become those 10 million lights that were in the song, the lights of 10 million stars. You actually have a presence within you that is embodied in you through the practice of knowing the truth that reaches out with those 10 billion stars. And you could be walking down the street and change lives. And you don't have to know who and what you've changed. You just know that you are being. So the thing that I say the most to myself is, I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. And as I go into my upper room, it's like I am free. I am free. I am free. And there's a feeling that goes on that says, wow, as I am free, this feeling of being this freedom, this feeling of being this divine self that I already am, I rise to truth. In accord with it, it becomes a transmission that is within me that goes out into the world. And so that is God itself doing its work through me. It can do its work through you. And I like to say, I have come, I have come, I have come. As the Christ itself, I have come, and I make all things new again. Because of how I feel and how I act and how I am in the world. So I have one thing that I'd like to say before closing, and it's sort of a transmission. And so I'm going to kind of read it. And as I read it, maybe we can bring up that last slide. There you are, rising through it all, out of the ocean, which is God itself. You are rising above. On this day, I choose to align the entirety of my being to the comprehension of the unity with all that is ever present in the upper room. And as I say these words, I give permission to every cell of my being, every idea I may have about what I am, every thought that I may hold about birth and death and the manifestation of form, to be released in this claim of union with all that is. And as I say yes and proclaim this, I allow myself to experience my union with all that is. I have come, I have come, I have come. Behold, I make all things new again. And so with that, I'm going to pray us out into that new world where being you, just being human, Hu meaning God, man, being meaning allowing that to flow through us, for us, and as us out into the world, the new world that is birthing right now. So I invite you to close your eyes and just relax into that knowing that there is only one God, one presence, one power, one infinite intelligence moving through, in, around, and as each and every one of us. Because I know this for myself, I know this for you, and I know this for the world. And when the world is ready to know it itself, it will pick it up and it will know it, because there is a light shining within me and within each and every one of you that is blasting those 10 million stars out into the universe, out into the world, reclaiming the truth of who and what is present. This power and this presence that is within each and every one of us is the service that we give to all that is. And so knowing this, knowing that this blessed unity is real, that the realization of it is coming forward in faster and faster ways, right here and right now, I allow that. I claim it. I know it is truth. And I let it do its marvelous work and wonder through me, for me, and as me. As I release it into the law of being, that law which says yes, that law that can only say yes through the word, my word, the word. Behold, I make all things new. I honor that. I give thanks to it. And I release it. And I let it go and I let it be, as together we say, and so it is.
Well, thank you, Starr. That was great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
very
for
much.
thank you for saying yes to service and truth.
Yes.
We're really blessed that you're with your presence amongst us here at St. George CSL. Namaste, my friend. Wow, what do you think? Okay, thank you. So, we got some announcements, of course. We, sometimes there's just a small group of us that putting this presentation together every Sunday and trying to keep this going. And sometimes you feel like, is anybody out there? I'm like looking at it and I'm talking to this computer and I'm wondering, is anybody? Sometimes I'll look up and it'll say 2 people watching, but I don't understand all the technology with this and that. But one thing I did see yesterday, we're having our monthly gatherings once a month somewhere in town. And we had one yesterday out at a local park. And my concerns about is anybody out there were just washed away because people just started showing up. So I know you're out there, and that's great. And we're going to do it again next month, October, and we'll be announcing where it's going to be and what the dates are. But thanks for showing up. We had old people show up and new people show up. So it's good to know that you're out there. So let's just keep this thing going. Now that you're out there and I got your attention, we're still working on our new minister, and we've got maybe some prospects. We have the team still looking for the possibility of reopening in a location so we can meet more than once a month. So we're building for that, and we can use all the help we can get. If you feel inclined that you want to help us out a little bit, on your screen, there's many ways that you can do it. Q code, text, breeze, checks, or whatever. Just pick one. We really thank you in advance for your blessings of your tithes and offerings. So our community center is still out there. Service teams. We have the service team keeping in touch with people, calling, checking in, everybody all right. So trying to, keep working to keep us all connected. Our practitioners are available to support you in prayer. If you'd like to talk to somebody, a contact, you can see down there, you can send an email to prayers@stgeorge.org or call the number below. I'm not going to try to say it. My tongue's tied. But they're there waiting to hear from you. So let's do it. We got it every week after the service on the hour, which is 12 noon Mountain Time. We have what we're calling our community conversation. It's a Zoom meeting. You can go to the website or our Facebook page and find the link onto that. There'll be a bunch of people there talking about today's message and what's new and just showing up and saying hi. And let's see today who all's out there. So y'all, let's show up to that deal. Next Sunday, Joe Kovac, our friend from Las Vegas, is back offering that inspired message. And on October 10th, Reverend Valerie Reeves will be providing the message for us. So it's all good. Come back every Sunday. We welcome you, please. So now it's time we'll get together and do our closing affirmation. We'll bring everybody up on the screen that's here and not out there. And here, I think. Oh, here they come. And it looks like we're all here except for the main guy. There he is. Chris is here. So I think Kelly will start us off and let's go.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank
you, life.
Woo! Woohoo!
Bye,
Hey.
everybody.
Thank you all for showing up. We'll see you next week. But don't forget, on the hour, 12 o'clock Mountain, zoom in here and let's see who's out there. Have a blessed week, all.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.